and gentlemen, we now move on to the first session, the first Fireside Chat, which is on Make in India apps for the world. Indian apps have come of age and blossomed and used a lot during the pandemic and after. To shed light on that, today we have with us Mr. Varun Khaitan, co founder, Urban Company. Varun Khaitan is the co founder and chief operating officer of Urban Company, formerly known as Urban Clap, an online platform connecting customers with the right professional services. He is responsible for business operations and partner success at the company. Urban Company is Asia's largest at home services marketplace with a presence in India, UAE, Australia, Singapore, and the United Kingdom. Varun, may I invite you on stage, please? Our next panelist, Amit Gupta, founder and CTO, TrulyMadly. Amit Gupta has extensive experience in the technology sector with a focus on product development and analytics. Amit co-founded TrulyMadly in 2019 and currently serves as the Chief Technology Officer, leading the company's tech strategy and innovation in the Indian dating market. Prior to TrulyMadly, Amit co-founded and served as the CTO of Delta from 2017 to 2019 and also co-founded Fella Homes in 2015 and held the position of co-founder and VP of products till 2017. May I welcome Mr. Amit Gupta. And to conduct the fireside chat, we have Mr. Arun Seth, board member, Narayana Health, Jubilant, Pharmova. Mr. Arun Seth currently is on the board of companies such as Jubilant Pharmova Limited, Jubilant Ingrevia, Narayana Hridale, Ixigo, Kent Aro, Usha Breco, and Sifi Technologies. He has been mentoring and scaling startups in the energy, healthcare, data infrastructure, and education areas. May I welcome Mr. Arun Seth. Over to you, gentlemen.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Thanks. So it's a great topic. 2047. I was speaking to PG. Me and him won't be there, so it's very easy for us to talk about it. But many of your kids will be there, so you got to be worried about it. Or excited. Exciting is the right word. So I think this whole topic is really very topical about software products and apps. I'm going to expand the topic, even though the topic was given as apps. I actually think it's the whole product ecosystem which matters, because app is just one of the ways to access these products and services. Would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely.
Good. So I'm saying one point, again, some of you people may remember, but it's not that India was never into products. Way back, PG, you might remember, Subroto Bagchi and Wipro Systems. It was a massive failure. They came back with their tails behind their back, and I think the Premji or whosoever was there said, no more product for me. And that's why you see a lot of the services companies are not in products at all. They all tried, including HCL, where we were. It was too early, but I think the time is coming now. So I would say I'm personally involved from NASSCOM side with the product ecosystem, trying to build it. And I think there are just 3-4, I'll give a small framework which I'd love the panel to debate about. One is, my personal belief is a lot of the engineers took over and built products which didn't have consumer experience in them. And the first slide that you saw, that everybody now wants consumer experience. So the engineers took over. There's no insult to, I'm a bad engineer. I don't know about you, rest of you guys. But the second part in products is that it's a very risky thing. Probably 80% fail. Because you have to get paybacks in 5 years, you got to keep investing, you don't know whether it'll work, whereas the services business is a 2-year payback, and it works. The third is the marketing end, which I'd love you guys to talk about also, is that to build a consumer brand, you need to be able to spend a significant amount of money. I'm told Microsoft, and I don't think anybody's here from Microsoft, spends $100 million for a launch of a new product. Which Indian company or product company is willing to do that? And the last question really is the issue of being global. So what I'd like you to say is that, should we be focusing on India, or is it too early or too far to be going global? That's I'd leave it with you and Varun. So I'd like to start with you. You built a product in a very in a fragmented market. So I'd love to hear from you on these points that I said. In terms of that framework, what would be your thoughts and what would be your guidance to the audience and other people who are building this ecosystem?
Some great points, Arun uncle. Thank you for starting.
You're not
things
calling
off.
me uncle anymore.
Okay. I think the last 20 years in India have been a journey of build up and transition. And we're talking about 2047, which is another 23 years away. And if the last 20 years are anything to go by, the future is going to be magical for tech coming out of India. What have we achieved in the last 20 years? We did start from building services, building products for users and markets outside. And I remember Y2K, and the world was afraid about even services products coming out of India. Very soon, in under 10 years, we were leading the global market in terms of building software services products out of here. And today, most of the largest companies in the world, whether they are technology companies or companies that depend on technology, have that technology being made by most of the large centers in India. So we are really leading the world in terms of making technology services and backend. What has also happened in the last 10 years, 2014 to now, with the consumer markets in India opening up, now talent and engineering teams in India are no longer building for users that are 7 oceans away, users that they can't relate to. Now we are building for our local markets. And as we are building for our local markets, there is the emphasis on user experience and solving for users. And that's why we are seeing more and more products being built in India that are truly solving unique problems, that are building solutions that have not been built or not been successfully built anywhere else in the world. You see, an urban company is one example of that. Nowhere else in the world has services being organized and brought online. Even in the US, today, if you have to book a plumber or a cleaner or a painter, you will most likely follow the journey which is similar to Just Dial. You will put in an inquiry somewhere on a website. You will hear in a few days from some service professionals. You will discuss on some phone calls, vague discussions around who will come, who's good, who's bad, what will they charge. And we know statistically only 10% of service inquiries made on service platforms in the West actually result into services getting delivered. 9 out of 10 times the consumer decides this is not working for me. I'm going to go old school, call some friends and figure it out. Versus today in India on Urban Company, 98% of orders that get placed result in services getting delivered to the consumer in under 24 hours. That's because we've been able to build an entirely new age services platform where services are SKUized, where service professionals, not companies, but individual service professionals, folks whom we would think otherwise are, haven't even received basic school education, are powered by technology and operate businesses on a simple mobile app. They get trained on the mobile app. They run an entire end-to-end fulfillment and service experience focused business. That's just one example. But I think there are several industries now, whether it is quick commerce, whether it is light e-commerce in the form of Meesho, whether it is finance apps, both banking and lending, and there are several that we know of built on top of the UPI infrastructure that are globally leading ecosystems because they are solving problems at scale, because now India has more than 200 million transacting and paying online users. So the market is large enough. And our offline infrastructure was not as developed. So we are leapfrogging in all of these industries and hence building what are models of the future.
Can I? You spot on. I was going to give you the example of Pocket FM. I met this guy. Have you guys heard of a company called Pocket FM? That company's majority of sales are coming. The creators are sitting in tier 3, tier 4 towns, and it's selling in the US. Short 15-minute episodes. That company has a ARR of many hundreds of millions of dollars. That's the power of this infrastructure that's out there. Can I just...
I will give one more example to what
Yeah,
Varun
please.
was saying, the world-class services. So back in 22, one of our product manager was in Germany, and we wanted to surprise her with a birthday cake and present. So we tried many apps and website of the Germany, but we could not figure out how to get it delivered. So somehow we get it delivered by next day. In India, if you want to cut a cake at midnight, you can, and even if you forgot the cake, you can get it delivered within 15 minutes here. So that's the world-class service example and customer experience we are building here and delivering here already.
Very good. No, Amit, back to this one. We now have things like UPI, which everybody's alluded to, digital public infrastructure. You're in a business which is, it's a pure digital services, but from regulatory point of view, like you were explaining, your service of dating services is somewhere in the gray area. I'm not saying it is.
It's not a...
No, but I'm saying,
yeah, yeah.
But I'd love to, from you, how do you take this kind of a service, what you're doing? One is, what is the solutions? Because I know there are issues going on in that service of apps being banned and so on and so forth. But it's a larger ecosystem. It's not just you. There are hundreds of yous.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how do we come up with some ideas of what can be done to, first of all, solve the issues as far as India is concerned and take it global?
So the concern is not just for India; it's being fought globally. And see, build. So I will tell you the brief history of what the issue we are facing. So currently, the App Store, either on Android or Apple, they are monopolized by respective companies. And now they are saying that whatever you are earning, you have to give us 30% back because we are delivering your services. And that's a very hard cut. But see, the solution to this is a fair competition in the App Store market. Correct. So building an App Store is not a challenge. So what challenging is developing millions of apps, which developers have already done it, and getting it to end user devices. Now, if you see, Indus App Store has a built an app, but it's still not yet on the end user devices. What happens? The companies like Google and Apple, what they do agreement with the OEM ki, hey, you can't put an app store in front of user. It has to be just a Play Store. Correct. I will give one more example. Back in 2016, in South Korean government forced Google to open the App Store market. And Google said, okay, let me open the App Store market. But they changed their developer agreement and said, hey, listen, if you want to sell your app on the One Store, see, One Store was App Store launched by some of the top telcos of the South Korea. And Google said, change their agreement ki if you want to launch your app on the One Store, we will kick you out of Play Store. So that's how they prevent innovation and competition. So with the help of government and regulator, we can build app store, we can distribute it. It's not that hard. It's just we need the support and cooperation from the regulator and government.
No, thank you. Hey, Varun, you were speaking about, you had some experiences going outside. Would you like to speak about them? Because there's lots of learning in what should not be done by others here.
Absolutely. So we are outside of India also present in 3 other international geographies because like I was saying earlier, we have built a platform that is globally leading in the services industry. So we do have a successful business in the UAE, in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and in Singapore. These are adjacent markets where we have succeeded because they have similar consumer problems. At the same time, I would say the glass is half full because we did try, but did not succeed in more Western, larger, successful markets like the US. And our learning there was that the consumer problems of the Western markets are different than those of India and adjacent markets. In hindsight, very understandable. Those markets are more mature in terms of their structure and competition. And what we realized was we do want to make a venture into those markets again, but it'll probably be a few years out. Once we have done some more innovation and have developed products and services that are not only solving problems of India, but on top of that platform, solving problems that are globally best in class as well. And I can give you a couple of examples. Today, if you want a massage at your home delivered in the same format as a 5-star hotel, you can get it on the Urban Company app in 1 hour. That's brilliant, right? That is why lakhs of users use Urban Company every month. But in the US, while that's a great experience, even going to a hotel is not a problem because you can drive, everybody has cars, everybody has great roads. In 15 minutes, you can get to a great massage center. So the same problem solution does not apply in the US. But different ones do. So we are, for example, working on saying women book beauty services, skin and facial services on our app. Now we are building technology which can analyze your face and create a custom skin regime for you. That solution will be relevant everywhere in the world.
That's a great example.
We are building appliance repair solutions where you'll connect a small machine which can be held in your hand and it'll tell you what is wrong with the appliance. That's a globally relevant solution. If you want to get your home painted, you just take a video of your home and we'll tell you how much that painting will cost because we measure your home using that video. These are leapfrogs in technology which we will build in India because we are now thinking about the service experience of the future. So in a few years, I do think companies in India will build solutions that are globally best in class consumer experience and relevant for consumer problems everywhere else in the world.
I'm glad that I'm a bad engineer. That's wonderful. Amit, what's your thoughts around what's the services of the future? Like, I mean, I know you're in the dating services thing, but I'd like you to go a little wider. I mean, for example, I'm a telco guy. I'm a big believer in voice. I mean, take India. I guess how many people know English in India? Maybe 200 million?
I think 100 million.
100 million. How many people know how to type?
More than
So my view is that with the smartphone industry, which I'm from, and the telecom industry, and with voice recognition and AI behind that happening, my guess is, and I'd like you to debate this, that commerce instead of typing will go to voice. So you'll go back to the old experience of going to your neighborhood kirana, except he's not there, but you're speaking. Does that make sense? I think we will leapfrog. The US is still, sorry, there's some guys from the US representing US companies, but you still use voicemail.
I agree. There is going to be the next wave of e-commerce, whether it is social creator-led e-commerce, is going to come in a big way out of India. Like live commerce came out of China, which was an experience now relevant elsewhere in the world. So visual search, voice-based search, affordable commerce, like the kinds that Misho is developing, zero commissions, because you can use existing rails of infrastructure and hence offer unbranded, really affordable products everywhere in every zip code of the country. Many such innovations will come first out of India and be relevant elsewhere in the world.
Amit, what's your thought?
Also, many such innovation in the services and product would be from India. Example might be the fintech is already an example. Our payment is world class. Payment services are world class and payment infrastructure is the world class. What I believe in the coming decade, healthcare from India would be very large and it would be recognized globally, and same with the educations and the skilling center. What Gen AI and AI would help us to create the educational content for the masses, for which we are like, you see, we what we lack is the quality infrastructure for the education, which GenAI can help close the gap. And same for the healthcare, like with the help of telemedicine and with the AI enabled solutions and preventive healthcare, we can serve masses of India, and for which infrastructure is not ready at least now, but it would be ready with the help of AI and you understand, in the coming decade.
No, you hit my main point, Varun. You know about my about healthcare. So to my mind, healthcare is the one where I think India will fundamentally change the way healthcare gets delivered
Yes.
globally. For example, I'm a investor in a company called Sunday Health. I think I've told you about it. So that's a app, unfortunately developed out of MIT. I'm sure somebody in IIT can develop it, but it's in the phone, and with about 80% accuracy, it can tell your respiratory situation, your mental health situation. So this is, and it all uses AI. So this is really where I think healthcare delivery, early detection will happen as a result of this. Therefore, you'll get better health outcomes.
Yeah, companies, startups are developing small tools with which you can detect your problems at home.
Yeah.
And you need not to go to hospital for measuring your diabetes level or whatever health issues you have. And also, if you think about the preventive healthcare, like reversing the diabetes, it's many startups are working in India, and I
I'm
think
involved with
they
all
are,
of them.
yeah.
I'm involved with all of them.
Oh, yeah. And they would be pretty much successful in the coming day. But I think nowhere in the world, even in the USA, not much of the company are working in the preventive healthcare sector, like reversing the diabetes or chronic lifestyle diseases, because it's more of, you can say, they're pharma driven. There.
There's a vested interest there,
Yeah.
if I may say so.
Yeah.
What other places, I think we're just about to run out of time. What other thoughts that you guys have? Do you think 2047 is too far for us to become I wouldn't say a superpower, but a relevant power in this space?
I think it'll happen much sooner. I think India can maybe disappoint in a very short time frame, in a 2-3 year time frame, but always surprises positively in a 10-year time frame. I do think by 2030 we will start to see some green shoots of industries where products and services built out of India are seeing global adoption, and by 2035 the game can be completely changed. Like we today see, ByteDance and Shane as like great products coming out of the US and taking out of China and taking markets like the US by surprise. In 3 years, becoming market leaders in very, very large markets. I think we will start to see companies out of India do that to markets elsewhere in the world in a 10-year time frame.
So what are the 3 things that you think to make that happen will be required? Is it funding? Is it just guts? Or Gupta, as they say? What is required?
I believe we have the elements at play: talent, capital, and a very large growing domestic market. These are the 3 ingredients that will come together, because in a thriving market where talent is competing for capital and for users in India, we will innovate. We are innovating as far from the, let's say, current app conversation in space tech as well, because we need to deliver cheap and small payloads to higher orbits. It's a problem not solved by anybody else in the world, but nanosatellites in India being developed both by companies and university ecosystems are doing that. So I think the ingredients are at play. If we just let the markets and innovation flourish over the next 10 years, we will see great outcomes happening.
Yeah, I would add to the Varun points. The talent was already there. If you see the back end of the Western company like Westech US, many of their core engineers were Indian. So what we were lacking is the ecosystem here. Over past decade, we have built a great ecosystem, a startup ecosystem, great innovation system. What I believe, we are at the inflection point currently, and in coming decade, we will be launching many products and innovation out of India, from the India for the world.
Great. I think we've covered our time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Arun.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you
this
very much.
opportunity.